What happens when America takes the island holding 90% of Iran's cash? U.S. Marines just sailed into the most expensive drone ambush in the history of the Persian Gulf. Iran launched everything they had to protect Kharg Island, because if Kharg falls, the Iranian economy dies. The Marines have never seen anything like that. Now, U.S. Marines are actively sailing to the Gulf right now. And to show you exactly what they are walking into, I didn't just guess. I dug into the open-source intelligence, naval doctrines, and weapon capabilities of both sides to build a hyper-realistic war game. What you are about to watch isn't a made-up story. It is exactly how this plays out based on cold, hard data. You will not regret it. Ask any patriot or veteran watching this, and they'll tell you, the United States military is the most dominant fighting force on Earth. But even they know, walking into an enemy's backyard against a swarm of thousands of suicide drones is a scenario that keeps generals awake at night. To understand how the Marines survived this, we have to go back 8 hours. It is 3:47 a.m. Persian Gulf. 2,500 United States Marines are moving through the dark at full speed. They are on a direct heading for Kharg Island. Here is the short version what Kharg Island is. It is a small, ugly, industrial rock sitting 20 miles off the Iranian coast. Nothing pretty about it. No beaches, no resorts, no reason to ever visit, unless you are either an oil tanker captain or a United States Marine on official government business. Kharg Island handles 90% of Iran's oil exports. 90%. Every barrel of oil that funds Iran's missiles, their drones, their proxies, their entire military machine passes through this one tiny island. It is Iran's financial heart, and Washington just decided to stop it from beating. The USS Tripoli leads the formation. It is a 45,000-ton amphibious assault ship. Think of it as a floating military airport that also carries an extremely unfriendly army inside it. Landing craft fan out ahead. L.C.A.S hovercraft bounce across the chop at 50 knots. Inside each one, Marines. Full gear, rifles up, expressions that clearly communicate they would rather be anywhere else on Earth, but are absolutely not going to say that out loud. They are 3 miles from the beach. Then the sky turns orange. Not sunrise, not flares. Iran. The first wave appears on the horizon like an angry, glowing storm cloud rolling low across the water. Then the sound hits, a terrible, buzzing, high-pitched roar that fills the entire night sky. Like someone released 300 furious lawnmowers into the dark and aimed every single one of them at the fleet. Shahed 136 one-way drones, Iran's signature weapon, each one carrying a 10-kilogram warhead, each one cheap enough that Iran genuinely does not care if it hits or misses. They are quantity over quality, the military equivalent of throwing literally everything in the kitchen at your enemy and seeing what sticks. But the Shaheds are only the first problem, because behind them, skimming 2 feet above the wave tops at 150 miles per hour, come the FPV drones, racing drone frames strapped with shaped charges, tiny, terrifyingly fast, precise enough to thread through a porthole. The kind of improvised drone that makes a $400 million warship very, very nervous. And underneath the surface, Iran's underwater kamikaze boats are already moving, unmanned, torpedo-shaped, each one programmed with exactly one instruction. Find a hull, accelerate, detonate. Iranians call this asymmetric warfare. Military analysts call it a layered threat architecture. The Marines in those landing craft are calling it several very loud words that cannot be broadcast on this channel. 300 contacts on radar, moving fast, closing from 3 different dimensions at the same time. Air, surface, subsurface. One L.C.A.S hovercraft takes a direct hit from a Shahed impact on the port side. The fireball lights up a kilometer of ocean in every direction. Marines are in the water. The radio net erupts with noise, multiple voices, damage reports, positions, status calls. The landing force has a serious problem right now. A very big, very loud, very orange problem. Then everything changed in an instant. Let us go back 12 hours. Kharg Island. IRGC Brigadier General Hossein Rahmanipour is sitting in front of a camera and having the absolute best day of his professional life. He is on Iranian state television, fresh-pressed uniform, perfect posture, the face of a man who just figured out exactly how to win. "We are fully prepared," he tells the reporter. "The Americans will not take one step onto this island. They will drown in fire before they ever reach the shore." He says all of this on live television. This is the military equivalent of a poker player texting the entire table photographs of his cards before the hand even starts. He is that sure of their strength. General Ramanipour has command of roughly 2,000 IRGC troops on Kharg Island, anti-aircraft missile batteries, coastal defense guns dug into hardened positions facing the water, FPV drone pilot teams that trained for 3 years in underground facilities, Shahed launch operators who are currently running on revenge and revolutionary fervor, underwater kamikaze boat teams already staged in the harbor, backup generators, hardened command bunkers, 3 overlapping defensive layers covering every approach to the island. He spent 6 months preparing for this exact moment. He is extremely pleased about all of it. There is just one very small detail that General Ramanipour has not fully thought through. Every single weapon he owns runs on a radio signal. The Shaheds, radio-guided navigation. The FPVs, pilot-controlled through a radio frequency link. The underwater boats, command dispatch through encrypted radio. Unit coordination, radio. Radar systems, radio frequencies. Communications between his 2,000 troops, radio. Every piece of his multi-layered, years-in-the-making, live television announcement-level defense system is an antenna collection. A very large, very expensive, very confident antenna collection. But the general is not thinking about that right now. He is wrapping up his interview. The reporter thanks him. He walks back to his command post. And somewhere at 40,000 feet above his head, making less noise than a whisper, something is already watching every single move he makes. To understand what is about to happen to General Ramanipour and his television promises, we need to talk about some American military hardware. Do not worry, there will be jokes. First, the EA-18G Growler. The Growler is a U.S. Navy electronic warfare aircraft. It does not destroy things with missiles. It destroys things with silence. The Growler carries electronic jamming pods mounted on its wings. These pods transmit targeted interference across specific radio frequency bands. Every frequency Iran's weapon systems are known to use, all of them, simultaneously, at full power. The Growler does not care how many drones you have in the air. It does not care how many trained pilots you have sitting at laptops in underground bunkers. It takes every radio signal in the operational area and replaces it with wall-to-wall static. Iran built a drone army. Growler looks at that drone army and says, "What a lovely antenna collection." Then it removes the signal. The Growler is only Act 1. Second, the L.U.C.A.S swarm. L.U.C.A.S stands for Low-Cost Uncrewed Combat Attack System. This is government speak for, we built our own swarm and ours makes your swarm look like a hobby project. L.U.C.A.S drones are small. They are a carbon copy of Iranian's drone. But the moment they hit the air, they do something Iran's drones fundamentally cannot do. They talk to each other. No human operator sits behind a controller managing individual drones. No pilot with a laptop and headset. No command links that can be jammed. L.U.C.A.S drones form an autonomous network the second they are airborne. They share sensor data. They assign themselves targets automatically. They coordinate attack vectors based on real-time threat assessment. They do not need a human handler. Iran's swarm requires a human in the loop at every step. Third, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. The B-2 costs $2.1 billion per aircraft. It has a radar cross-section approximately the size of a coin. It flies at high altitude. It is shaped like a flying wing and painted the exact color of the night sky. Iran's radar cannot reliably detect it. It is currently loaded with enough precision-guided munitions to cause significant structural problems for anyone standing near a hardened concrete bunker. Fourth, the F-22 Raptor. If you are a regular viewer, you already know. If you are brand new here, welcome. The F-22 Raptor is the most advanced air superiority fighter on the planet. Costs $143 million per aircraft. Iran has no aircraft that can challenge it in a fair fight. Iran has no radar system that can reliably track it at all. The 2 F-22s assigned to this operation are currently orbiting the entire engagement area from from very high altitude. They are waiting for remaining Iranian Air Force to scramble and give them something to do. No Iranian fighters appear, because Iran lost its Air Force 2 weeks ago during the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury. The F-22s are up here tonight primarily on a supervisory basis, like a very expensive babysitter. With missiles, just in case anyone wants to try something creative, and 2,500 Marines in landing craft who crossed half the Pacific Ocean and are not going home without the island. This is the team back to the water. 3:47 a.m. The orange glow is getting closer. 300 Shahed drones at 2 kilometers out and closing. FPV drones at 1 kilometer. Wave hopping at terrifying speed. Underwater kamikaze boats threading between hull signatures below the surface. Inside his bunker on Kharg Island, General Rahmani-Pour is watching his screens. His swarm is closing perfectly. His pilots are locked in. His whole plan is executing exactly as designed. He is smiling. This is his moment. The swarm closes to 1.5 kilometers from the landing craft. The Growlers activate. 4 EA-18G Growlers, flying a wide arc 40 miles north of the island, initiate full-spectrum jamming simultaneously. Every U.S. system in the water has been pre-briefed and is operating on protected frequencies. Iranian systems get something else entirely. Total blackout. The effect is immediate and visible from the deck of the USS Tripoli. 270 Shahed drones instantly lose their guidance updates. Most lock onto their last confirmed heading and just keep going that direction regardless of what is in front of them. About 40 of them start flying in slow, confused circles, like they forgot what they were looking for. 32 of them simply drop out of the night sky and hit the ocean at 180 kilometers per hour. They are not going to hurt anyone. They cannot even significantly bother the fish. One Shahed performs a perfect 180-degree course reversal. It turns completely around and begins flying calmly back in the direction of mainland Iran. It is, objectively, the most committed drone in the entire engagement. Some Navy sailor watching the radar screen privately roots for it. The FPV pilots in their island bunkers are staring at blank screens. Where there were live camera feeds showing fast-moving water, there is now the universal symbol of modern defeat, the no signal icon, like when your home internet drops during the most important moment possible. Except the important moment involves explosive drone frames traveling at 150 miles per hour. 30 FPV drones hit the Persian Gulf within 8 seconds, from precision lethal weapons to very expensive boat anchors in under 10 seconds. Below the surface, the underwater kamikaze boats are still moving. Without command updates, they circle aimlessly like confused Roombas. Back on Kharg Island, General Rahmani-Pour picks up his radio to inquire about the situation. Static. He grabs the backup radio. Static. He picks up his personal cell phone. Nothing. The Growlers consumed the entire regional spectrum. He physically walks outside his command bunker. He shouts at the nearest IRGC soldier he can see, which is, at this moment, the only working communication on Kharg Island. A uniformed military general shouting across a courtyard in the dark. This is a man who gave a polished television interview about technological superiority approximately 11 hours ago. He is now operating on the same communication infrastructure as a farming village in 1400 AD. Now the American swarm launches. From the deck of USS Tripoli and 2 flanking destroyers, 80 L.U.C.A.S fire in rapid sequential bursts. 80 drones soon in the air. They find each other in under 5 seconds. Network formed. The island is mapped using onboard sensors at processing speeds that make human analysts look like they are operating in slow motion. Targets are assigned. Attack vectors are optimized. Every remaining anti-aircraft position on the western coast. Every coastal gun still pointing at the water. Every radar tower still standing above rubble. They attack all of them, simultaneously, together, without a single human telling them to go. In under 90 seconds, every active defensive position on the island's entire western approach is removed from the equation. Not suppressed, not damaged, removed. Then from 20,000 feet, the B-2 Spirit opens its bomb bay doors. The hardened command bunkers on the eastern side of Kharg Island experience what the mission debrief will formally describe as precision kinetic engagement of subterranean infrastructure. What that phrase means in practical terms is that $2.1 billion worth of stealth bomber engineering just delivered a very direct message in a language that reinforced concrete completely understands. The two F-22 Raptors watch the entire engagement from high above. They are monitoring for any Iranian air response. No aircraft appear, no scrambles, no threats. The F-22 pilots look at each other through their gold-tinted canopies. Nothing to do. They keep watching. Disappointing. It is 4:31 a.m. The first boot hits Kharg Island beach. The IRGC troops still alive on the island have no communications, no drone coverage, no radar picture of the beach, no coordination between their own positions. They have rifles, ammunition, and the overwhelming awareness that something has gone very wrong outside. They do not know how many Marines have landed. They cannot coordinate a response between units. They cannot call for reinforcements that do not exist anyway. They cannot determine which direction the main attack is coming from. The answer, for the record, is every direction at once. Uncertainty is itself a weapon, and the Marines are currently swinging it like a sledgehammer. Marine raiders and assault elements move fast, building by building, position by position. The L.U.C.A.S drones still orbiting overhead feed continuous thermal imaging down to squad-level displays. Every warm body on this island is visible before a Marine rounds a single corner. The IRGC is fighting blind. The Marines are running the whole engagement with what amounts to a live cheat code for the battlefield. The resistance is real. IRGC soldiers are not cowards. They have rifles. They have resolve. They use both. But rifles and resolve against Marines running thermal imagery, close air support on call, and nearly 2 years of mission-specific training for this exact island, these exact building layouts, these exact defensive positions, that equation resolves the same way every time regardless of how much resolve you bring. The oil terminals stand untouched throughout the entire assault. Every explosion on this island was precisely planned. Every airstrike was coordinated against the terminal protection map. The Marines fought around billion-dollar oil infrastructure with the precision of surgeons operating around a beating heart. Not one pump, not one pipeline manifold, not one storage tank. This was the constraint that made everything harder, and the Americans executed around it perfectly. By 6:15 a.m., Kharg Island's main garrison is finished. The island belongs to the United States Marines. At 7:02 a.m., General Rahmanipur is located in a hardened bunker in the island's northeast corner, alone, in the dark, still holding his radio handset, still pressing the transmit button, still getting static. His drone teams have been at the bottom of the Persian Gulf for nearly 3 hours. His commanders on the mainland cannot reach him. His entire multi-layered, television-announced, absolutely foolproof defense strategy is currently scattered across roughly 40 square kilometers of open water in small pieces. He had everything except an answer for what happens when the United States simply turns your country's military Wi-Fi off and brings their own. Iran called Kharg Island their nation's crown jewel. Well, the crown fits an American head just perfectly. Subscribe and like now. You can also watch this amazing video you will like.